So, turns out, I actually tried to record this video yesterday at night, and, had the thumbnail. It was finished. It was gonna look phenomenal. The entire video was like a 30-minute analysis on every single unit, and it was going to be the most perfect thing ever. And guess what? The entire recording got corrupted. Like, the sound was still there, but the entire screen, it was just pitch black. The entire video, the entire thing got ruined. So yeah, we are here now in the Wild Rail CD Value Central. Now, you probably did see the thumbnail and the title. I am basically going to be going into a very deep analysis into my value list, and basically talking about every single unit in the game, which ones to aim for, which ones to be aware of, like what you should invest into, what you shouldn't. Now, before I start, I really hope that this video is better than the last one, but like in the last video, I was going so deep into it, I was like out of breath half the time, so just bear with me. You might want to get like a little notepad if you want to take notes, but if you mainly just clicked on this video to see how you could get really wealthy fast, before we even start going over every single unit, I just want to say, if you just want to get good in general and get a lot of value fast, the fastest way is to grind the new Blood Moon event and grind a bunch of those crates. Nightwolf is only a 0.5% chance, which is actually only a 1 in 200 chance, which is actually not that hard, especially if you are able to get to a high enough wave to the point where you are getting one crate, or at least one crate per game you play. So yeah, and again, you don't have to actually win the map as long as you just play it enough to where you're getting at least one crate per match. You should be fine. So if you just keep grinding that, you should be able to get a decent amount of Night Wolves and just resell those for a lot of stuff that you need and want. But aside from that, we are going to start now. My recording thing is currently blocking the commons and uncommons, but I don't really think any of you care about that. Torture is buns. The uncommons, forgot they existed. Rares, I probably won't go too much into. I mean, all of these are all trash. Again, every single farmer unit in the game is horrible, garbage, literally does not serve any purpose at all. So we'll get into that later into the video, but just to start off, farmers are not needed whatsoever. Maybe if you're newer and you get some really expensive units early on, but you don't actually have enough to afford them in your games, then I guess, but for the most part, their value's horrible, demand's horrible. Would highly recommend not really trading for them. But other than that, the Mummy is, I believe, the third best starter unit in the game, right behind Horse and Gold Horse. Fairly easy to get. It's from the Egyptian crate. Not really much else to say about it besides the fact that it's a pretty good starter. I do have it really high up in the tier list because people wanted me to. For some reason, it's actually higher in the tier list than Horse. Probably gonna have to fix that next update, but yeah. So for the most part, not too much going on with rares. I don't want to get too much into Mummy because there's not really much about him, and you might not even use him when you're trying to become really pro. Now, moving on to the epics. Not really much to see here. I mean, all the summon epics, Easter Bunny, they're all pretty trash. I wouldn't really try going for them. I don't know how good Scientist is exactly. I know Vampire Hunter is a very good mid-game unit, so if you are able to get him from the Blood Moon crate, that'd be awesome. Camel is just there. I mean, he's cool, I guess. But that's it for epics. Now we're just gonna go straight into legendary. Now, for I feel like epic and below, there's not really much to talk about. Once we get into Mythic Plus, it's going to get crazy. Or at least I think. In the last video, I was sounding like such a nerd. But anyway, legendaries. So now, first off, we are starting with the Vampire unit, which... So, the recording was bugging out there. As I was saying, Vampire is one of the few summon legendaries, and he's pretty okay. I mean, I feel like most of the summon legendaries like Vampire and Wolfmaster are pretty average. I wouldn't really try going for them. If I were you, I would actually try going for units like the Wolf, since the Wolf, I believe, is right behind Mummy with the 4th best starter, and it's very easy to get, very, very good. Aganator is a little bit hard to find, especially if you're newer, but it is a pretty good mid-game unit. Doctor, it's like, yes, it can unstun your units, and it's the only unstun unit in the game as of right now, but it is never going to really see any meta teams, and nor is it anywhere near meta. Probably like a maybe high D tier. It's pretty mid all around. I wouldn't really try going for this, especially if you're newer, because he really does not serve any purpose. And then again, with the farms, High Roller, Oil Miner, you do not want to be going for these because they really serve zero purpose on your team. Like, I mean, yeah, there's just really no point. Survivalist, though. Survivalist, in my opinion, and I think a lot of other people would agree, is by far the best summon legendary and is actually better than most summon mythics. Actually, even just mythics in general, because his AoE attack, high DPS, decent range, makes him good all around, and he's also very cost efficient. So again, you do not need any of these farms to actually like afford him and all of his upgrades. So highly recommended you get this. Its value is usually around like 30 to 40 in the marketplaces. So if you are able to save up just a little bit of gold, you should be able to afford him. Or you could just simply get him from the summon. That also works. Camel base is a little bit hard to get. Like I said, again, farms are pretty mid. Spawners are also very mid. This is basically a combination of the two worst types in the entire game. It has okay value. I mean, if it's like one of your better units, I guess you could use it. It's not horrible, but especially once you start getting better units, this is probably not going to be on your team. But other than all the other legendaries, the newest legendary, Toxic Wolf, does have some decent value. I'm probably going to make him drop the next value update because this is probably one of the most buns units in the entire game. I mean, it is just simply not worth the Robux. Like, I think it only does like 1k DPS per wolf, and there's just really no point in having it. In my opinion, Survivalist is even better, I think. So yeah, Toxic Wolf is pretty mid. I mean, if you do have the extra Robux and you have a little bit to spend, I guess you could try gambling for it with the Toxic crate, but he just won't really get you that far. Pretty low tier. But that's going to be it for the legendaries. If you do have any questions also, please let me know down in the comments. I will, I'll make sure to try and answer every single question in the comments. But that's going to be it for the legendaries. Now, Mythic. We got the big boy units here, okay? All right, get ready because this gonna get deep. Now, to start off, Sniper, Werewolf, pretty average units. I mean, both of them are pretty good. They both serve pretty good, like, usage, I guess. But they're kind of like the bottom tier mythics. You could probably find them for decent prices in the marketplace, but then again, they're not AoE, and you probably won't find them anywhere near meta teams, so they're kind of just there. If you manage to get one, great for you. If it is one of your better units, definitely make sure to use them, because they still do some pretty good DPS, especially if you're not as experienced. But Turret Bunny, very cheap unit. Very good DPS. Highly recommend you get this early on because it's probably going to be doing some of the most DPS you have on your team. Conductor is disgusting. I do not want to see this unit again. And again, like I said earlier, summon units and farms are just garbage in this game. You will never really have a need for them, ever. Conductor also has way too, like, it has such a high exist count to the point where, I mean, just pretty much everyone has it. It's a pretty bad unit overall. But if you do manage to get it, it is actually not horrible. Like, I mean, it's better than like an epic, but it's still pretty trash all around. Now, Priest and Knight are the rest of the summon mythics. Now, Priest is actually a very good splash damage unit. Pretty decent value, though. If you did want to save up for one of the summon mythics, I would definitely recommend you trying to get Knight instead, since this dude is amazing. Amazing AoE damage, amazing DPS, amazing range. This dude is, like, awesome. He has, I think, 5 placements, and although he's a little bit hard to get, I'm sure if you do grind bonds and wait for him to be in the summon, you should be able to get him fairly easy. Very good demand, stable, really, really good unit all around. Same with things like Electricorn and Winged Vampire, which are 2 crate units. Now, getting Scientist crates isn't the easiest thing in the world. Would I try and get Electricorn from them? I guess. I mean, if you do somehow get this, it's a very, very good unit, but aiming for it, I don't really know. It is actually pretty cheap compared to the other summon mythics, so if you do just want to buy it from the marketplace, that's also an option. Winged Vampire is currently dropping too. Pretty cheap unit, fairly easy to get from the Blood Moon crate, and is very good. Again, like I was mentioning earlier, the Blood Moon crate is very good to grind, holding some incredibly powerful units. Well, besides Oil Miner, again, a very bad farm. Winged Vampire, great DPS, pretty cost efficient, really, really good overall. But now, again, with the pay to win stuff, Toxic Werewolf, although being a very, very good unit, his price is pretty weird right now. Mostly owner's price. I just say he's like around 4K plus because that's kind of what I average him about. By far the best mythic in the entire game, having incredible AoE damage and DPS, pretty decent range. His demand is really good right now. Which I will get into the Robux units later with the exclusives. I honestly feel like Toxic Werewolf isn't really worth the gamble, though if you do have a lot of extra Robux and you do want to try and get him, go ahead. But the risk of not getting him is quite high, especially if you don't have like 10 plus crates. So that's kind of Toxic Werewolf. Really, really good if you manage to get him, but I probably wouldn't try to aim for him early on. And then again, you could probably aim for, you know, less good units that are a lot easier to get, like Knight. But that's going to be it for the Mythics. Now, out of breath already. Godlies. We spent a lot of time on this one last video. Werebunny. Probably like one of the most forgettable units in the entire game. Its value is going to constantly be slowly rising. Demand is okay. It's just, if you're a new player and you want to get a really good team, you're probably not going to have this on it. Werebunny's only a single attack type unit with pretty mid DPS. If you do manage to get it though, like pretty much for every single other unit, it is pretty good to have for DPS, but I honestly, if you're going to end up paying that much for a unit, I'd probably try to aim for something like Tesla, since Tesla is a very good AoE unit, great demand. It is dropping slowly, but, I mean, it's still really good. And then also, if you do want to try to invest in Werebunnies, because Werebunny is never going to drop, it's completely unobtainable. I don't even know why it doesn't say that. Well, technically, you can still get it from the crate, but, yeah, so this is Werebunny. You know, like I said, if you want to invest into it, you can. Maybe if you want to, like, hoard a bunch, and then once it rises, you could resell them. Pretty decent idea. But, moving on to, actually, you know what, we're going to finish up Tesla here. Tesla, really, really available summon unit. A lot of them exist, so it shouldn't be that hard to get one. Though some people do expect overpays for them, especially if they do have decent traits, because Tesla is a very good unit. Not necessarily on the meta team, but is still definitely like a mid-S tier. And then Pharaoh. So basically, if you do have a Pharaoh, just know that because of Blood Moon, units like Pharaoh and Cleopatra are rising a crap ton. Like, Pharaoh used to be selling for maybe like 3 to 3.5k, and now because of the Blood Moon event and Pharaoh still being quite rare, his value is around 6k plus. I mean, at least that's what people have been selling him for. Demand is great. He is dropping, but his demand is still very, very good. And again, he can help you a lot with Blood Moon. Now, as far as gambling for him goes, I mean, I guess you could gamble for him, but like he's a 0.1% chance, which we are going to get into more with Nikola Tesla. He's pretty hard to get. If you want to try and grind ancient crates or buy a lot of them in bulk, you can. In my opinion, it would be worth it if you were to get Pharaoh, but he's just very hard to get. So if you want to aim for him, you can, but again, he's pretty hard to obtain, so I'd probably shoot for something a little bit less hard to obtain. Anyway, we're halfway through the godlies, guys. It's okay. We're getting through it. Okay, it's like 9 in the morning. Okay. Nikola Tesla. Very, very controversial unit, or at least was, because of the gold dupe. Now, he probably would be worth a lot more than he is right now, but because of the gold dupe again, his value is pretty mid. Well, not mid actually. It's about 20k. He's pretty stable. I would say he's dropping slowly, but as of right now, he is getting offered about 20 to 25k. The value is pretty. I just said devalue instead of demand. Okay. God. Okay. Not devalue. Demand is pretty mid. I'm sure if someone did see you with it, they'd probably try to offer. It's a actually really, really good unit. Pretty close to meta, if not on the meta team. Really, really good AoE. Now, if you are a newer player, or even like somewhat experienced, I highly recommend you do not try to get this. The scientist crates cost a fortune, and it is a 1 in 1,000 chance of getting Nikola Tesla, so I don't really know if you should shoot for that. Again, things like Tesla are a lot easier to get and are still really good. Even Pharaoh would be a lot easier, since although it's still 1 in 1,000, it is way easier to get the crates. But that's Nikola Tesla. I'm sure once he drops a little bit more, it will be easier for you all to obtain him, but as of right now, probably not the best thing to aim for. Hold on, I gotta get ready for this because I'm gonna have an entire yap session. Alright, so going back to what I was talking about before with the whole Blood Moon crate situation, if you are a newer player, I highly recommend you go for the Blood Moon crates because, again, Nightwolf is very, very easy to get. And his value is actually very, very good. You could easily like get a couple of these and resell them for crazy amounts. His demand is really good, being the 3rd best unit in the entire game, right behind Toxic Tesla and Golden Horse. He is dropping, but you could still easily sell him for really good amounts since his demand and DPS is so good. So that's Nightwolf. That's about it for like all the Blood Moon stuff. We will get into Cleopatra later, but for the Blood Moon units themselves, this is kind of it. Again, Nightwolf is very, very good to get, especially if, you get him just for him to be good and not really to resell. Moving on to Toxic Tesla. That credit card is like... You do not want to do this to any credit card. Like, Toxic Tesla may be the 2nd best unit in the entire game right behind Golden Horse, but this dude is a 1 in 100 chance from a crate that costs 150 Robux. If you're a new player and you're very wealthy in Robux, sure, go ahead. This is an absolutely amazing unit, great value, great demand. It is dropping slowly, but it's the fact that it's like the 2nd best unit really carries it. If you do manage to somehow get this, you are good to go. This broccoli man will literally carry you probably for like weeks until something outdoes him. Now, honestly, if you are someone from the viewpoint where you're trading for it, a lot of people have been trading Anubis for Toxic Tesla. That's mainly what the trade has been. Now, if you were questioning whether or not you should do that, if it were me, I would. One, because Toxic Tesla is way better, being, like, in terms of, like, endgame and DPS, this is by far the best unit, but only because Golden Horse is, like, the best starter and it's really good. It's not first. But, great value, great demand again, not really dropping. People have been overpaying a ton for this, right? Like, I say it's 60k plus, but it's pretty much owner's price, since you'll see people trade it for Anubis, and then you'll see other people trade it for like a golden were bunny and golden turret bunny. So yeah, its value's pretty fluctuated, but as it stands right now, really, really good unit. Highly recommend you try and trade for this if you can afford it. But yeah, so godly. Also, believe it or not, this isn't even close to where the video ends, because we are about to get into some very, very annoying stuff. Starting off, the second best starter unit in the entire game, Horse, which was just recently buffed, is, in my opinion, the second best Robux unit, right behind Bigfoot, which we will get into later. Gander Blocks did leave the game, so his value is pretty decent. Pretty trash unit, though. If you do see one being sold for a pretty cheap amount compared to this value, I'd say buy it. It's most likely going to rise a decent amount, and it's not horrible. I mean, its DPS is about 5,600, assuming you can place all 8 of them down at once. Which, yeah, isn't horrible, but I wouldn't really try to aim for him. He is pretty goofy, though, so if you just want to get him for looks, go ahead. Arsonist is the most buns unit. Do not go for this. If you do have enough Robux, I highly recommend getting Horse instead. And if you do still have like the 100 extra Robux left from not buying Arsonist, I'd say buy like a Luck Game Pass instead. Because this dude is just garbage all around. Values mid, demand is horrible. Always going to be dropping. Not really good meta-wise. Pretty mid. So yeah, overall, Horse is probably going to be the best pick. Now, if you do have 800 Robux, though, Bigfoot is a very good unit. Pretty sure it's top of the A tier category. I feel like its value is a bit more than 1.5k, but he isn't dropping very fast. I'd say if you do have the Robux, definitely aim for him instead of Horse, since you could easily get a good starter unit other than Horse, or just straight up buy it for cheap in the market. I've seen it for around like 500 to 700, so you could definitely go for that. Demand is okay. Yeah, so Bigfoot's pretty good. If you have the extra Robux, I definitely say go for him. He's great AoE. But yeah. Unicorn. I hate this unit so much. Like, you do not even understand. Being like the main value change person, I absolutely hate this unit. I despise it. I wish it never existed. And yeah, this unit is just absolutely horrible. I do not want to see it ever again. But I'm still gonna end up going into it because, you know, I have to. But honestly, I kind of wish I didn't. This unit sucks so bad. Anyway. This is Unicorn, the top 100 endless leaderboard unit that has only been given out about twice. Well, it's going to be 3 times in about a day. Now, basically, the reason why I absolutely hate this unit so freaking much is because there was essentially a dupe rumor going around where Unicorn was being duped a lot. And people were selling it in the marketplace for like 1,250 gold. Yeah, 1,250, mind you. Before it was duped, it was going for about 14k plus. So that happened. People were selling it for incredibly low prices. There were even people with Unicorn begging for others to offer for it because it was like its demand was horrible. It was being duped. Like, well, though, what makes it a rumor is that turns out the devs actually confirmed that it wasn't duped, and all of the duped evidence was just simply from testing, and no duping actually went on. Everyone else, though, including me, that thought there was still some duping going around, still continued to make its value pretty low. I kept switching sides, honestly. I ended up going for the other side, though, with making its value low, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to make a unit that people are selling for like no more than 7k worth like 12 to 14k. I don't want to look like a value manipulator, and overall, I feel like a lot of these values are mainly based off what people pay, not necessarily what a unit should be worth. So that's Unicorn. It's kind of sitting at 5K right now. I'm probably going to start rising it as time does go on, because I don't think anyone's really selling it for any less than like 5K right now. So I'll keep you all updated on Unicorn, I guess, but it's a pretty, it's actually, I think, on the meta team. I don't know exactly, though. It's kind of like around Nikola Tesla territory. But yeah, that's Unicorn. I have been talking so much. But yeah, I hated dealing with this unit. Some people still think it wasn't duped and it should be high, and some other people think something fishy still went on and it should be low. But we'll see what happens. Maybe something will happen. I have no idea, but I don't even want to look at Unicorn ever again. I had nightmares about unicorns. Kind of ironic. Anyway, the category that runs the whole game. Golden units. My beloved golden Easter units. Okay, well, I guess we're going to get these guys out of the way early on, hopefully. Gold Were Bunny, pretty good unit. Pretty low S tier, though. Especially if you are a player that just wants a good team, I recommend you probably don't aim for this. It's the second most, well, technically, it's the most expensive unit, though people do trade or have been trading Toxic Tesla for Golden Were Bunny and ads. I don't really know where it falls, though, right now. Its value is 80 to 85K plus as of right now. Its demand is amazing. It's always going to be rising pretty high. Same with the rest of these units. They are all unobtainable. Now, the only thing with the rest of the Easter units is that all of them are all single attack, and their DPS is great, but compared to the other AoE units in the game, it's pretty mid. Golden Bunny, well, actually, it kind of goes in order. Golden Bunny does the least amount of DPS with, I think, only 4 placements, like 4K DPS per. Golden Egginator has 5 placements and does, I believe, I think it's like 3 point something K DPS per. And then Golden Turret Bunny, I believe, has 4 placements with like, I don't know, I want to say like 5K DPS. I don't really know exactly. It's somewhere around 20K DPS with all placed down. The best out of the gold units, I believe, in DPS. Golden Were Bunny does around 15K. Now, in my opinion, Golden Bunny is the most expensive out of these 3. Then comes probably Gold Egginator, then Gold Turret Bunny, since Gold Turret Bunny has a lot more existing with 800, while these guys have like less than 400. Though Golden Turret Bunny is, I believe, the second highest DPS unit in the game. I don't exactly know, though. So if you do want to aim for this purely for the DPS, go right ahead. But a lot of these guys are pretty expensive, though are rising a lot. So those are the Golden Easter units. Maybe you want to try and shoot for these. I would probably recommend shooting for something like Golden Bunny, since once Golden Turret Bunny gets outdone, it's probably going to drop a little bit. But yeah. More gold. Opposite of what I have. Okay. Golden Cowboy. I mean, I think the value kind of speaks for itself. And yeah, it's same kind of with Golden Wolf. Again, as much as I love Golden Farmer, this is, again, an absolutely trash unit. Every single farmer in this game is pretty buns. So yeah. Now moving on to the beloved Golden Horse with a lovely value of 8K plus right now. Demand is phenomenal. Not really slowly rising. It's actually rising quite fast right now, since it is literally the best unit in the entire game. Great starter, great range, great DPS, meta. I mean, it's not AoE, but it's still very, very good. I'm pretty sure it is needed on the meta team, and it is just #1 unit, absolute best. I highly recommend, especially once you start running Night Wolves, to aim for Golden Horse, since you are not going to regret it. Now, for Jade units, they're still gold rarity, but, you know, pretty cool. Jade Miner, decent starter. It's usable, but it probably won't get you very far in the later, like modes and games. Um, Jade Master, again, summon units aren't very useful, so you probably won't be using this that much. Jade Vampire has some pretty decent DPS. I would, probably recommend getting Winged Vampire instead, though, since Jade Vampire doesn't really do as much, and, he's kind of forgotten. Jerwolf, though, I mean, its value is great, about 5k plus as of right now, but, it's pretty mid DPS wise. I believe it's around mid A tier. I would recommend probably not going for this if you want to get better. Though it is slowly rising, kind of same with Golden Horse, though its demand is not nearly as good. I don't know why it's the same. And it's a single attack, pretty cheap though. If you do manage to get it, great. It's actually a pretty decent unit, but finally we have made it. Last but not least, because we still have crates, we have the Egyptian limiteds. Now, to start off, we do have Skeleton Horse, which just recently actually rose to 8k plus. Before I had it at about 5k plus, but I thought, why make it so little when it's actually a pretty rare unit with only, I believe, 374 in existence. Its demand is pretty mid. Its DPS is really mid. It's not AoE at all. It's pretty much a single attack. If you want to get a good team again, I probably wouldn't aim for this, but it's, consistently rising. It's kind of just forgotten. It's there. One of my favorite units, personally. But then going into Anubis, which later today I will most likely change his value to 45k plus, since this dude is highly rising, great demand, absolute beast. Definitely on the meta team, falling, I believe, right behind Dark Wolf. Wait, I said Dark Wolf, Night Wolf. Again, unattainable limited, never going to drop most likely. Great unit all around. If you do manage to get him, awesome. And also, again, with the Toxic Tesla thing, if you do have Toxic Tesla, I recommend you do not trade it for Anubis. Although one day Anubis will most likely be worth more, I wouldn't really do that since Toxic Tesla is just way better. But anyway, that's the whole Anubis deal. Cleopatra, again, with the Blood Moon event update, this thing is an absolute beast. Now, although it is a summoner, I have heard that it is very good for Blood Moon, since it, does good stuff. I don't really know. Either way, people have been paying a lot for it, so you'll probably see it for around 3 to 4k plus. Its demand is pretty good right now. Stable, limited unit, so you can't even get it anymore, which is most likely why it's getting offered so much. But, that's that. We still have crates. Well, crates are crates, honestly. It's not that big of a deal. Gold Rush crates are pretty hard to get yourself. Should you spend that much on a Gold Rush crate? Probably not. I would probably recommend just trying to get a bunch of Blood Moon crates, getting Night Wolves, then trading those for Gold Horse, since the rest of the gold units are pretty mid overall. Easter crate, I find these to be pretty hard to find. If you do manage to find them for cheap, though, I guess you could buy them. Again, Golden Were Bunny is kind of bad, but it is going to be consistently rising. Jade crate, I wouldn't really get this. Every single unit in this crate is pretty mid overall. Ancient crate, really, really cheap, really, really easy to get. Pharaoh's awesome, really great value right now, but again, with all the rest of the crates, is it really worth it? I don't really know. Pretty much up to you to decide, but as far as that goes, yeah. We're almost there. We finally have only 3 left. Scientist crate is the most recent gold crate, I believe. Again, Electricorn is awesome, but, everything else in the Scientist crate is pretty mid, I think. What else? There's Electricorn, there's Nikola Tesla, which, again, Nikola Tesla is pretty mid. Why am I saying pretty mid? Its chances are pretty mid. It's a 0.1% chance to get, pretty hard, and I just don't think it's worth spending all that gold trying to get him, especially when, you know, he's not the best unit, and his value isn't absolutely, like, amazing. But that's Scientist crate. I don't know why I can't remember the rest of the units. I think it was, wait, yeah, it was Scientist and High Roller, I believe. And again, Scientist is buns, High Roller's a farm unit. You get the gist. Blood Moon crate, again, 65 value. It's most likely going to drop a lot once a lot of Blood Moon units start to exist, because again, the Blood Moon event is very, very easy to grind, especially for like newer players. Its demand is really good. If you're able to buy a lot of these in bulk, that'd be great, especially for a cheap price. Nightwolf is an amazing unit, currently rising, same with Winged Vampire. Well, it's not rising, but it's really good meta. Toxic crate, if you want to make your mom cry for stealing your credit card, go right ahead. But Toxic crate, it holds some pretty decent units. If you are able to get Toxic Werewolf or Toxic Tesla, that'd be great. But Toxic Wolf is absolute buns, and I do not think this crate is worth it. If you don't like gambling, unlike probably most people watching this video, I'd say just aim for something like Horse or Bigfoot, or just buy game passes. But yeah, that's that. I'm just okay. It's okay. We're almost there. I've been recording for like 35 minutes. Okay. Now this is my official tier list that I have made. Now this was last updated when the Toxic update came out, which I believe was last Sunday, which is about 2 days ago. Now, again, like I did say, I don't know why Mummy is greater than Horse when it's not. But this is my tier list. If you want to take a look at it, you can. I think it's pretty good. Like I said, now, also, keep in mind, this tier maker is entirely based off of, like, general, like, stats, not really whether or not they're, like, good overall. And also, this is not based off of value. This is entirely based off meta. Again, like I said, Golden Were Bunny, pretty low S tier. Golden Bunny's pretty bad. Or mid, I guess. Knight is a very, very good unit to aim for. You got Electricorn, you got Winged Vampire. And then that also explains why Cleopatra isn't as high as she would be, because this doesn't really apply to just Blood Moon. But yeah, that's that. Hopefully you all enjoyed this really nerdy analysis of my value list. If you do have any questions or you would like to add anything, please do in the comments. I can barely breathe, but you know, I didn't want this video to be like an entire hour long, so I wanted to, you know, get through things pretty fast. But if you want to check out this website, I will have it linked in the description of the video, so you can check it out. There also is the Discord server linked in the website, which you can ask for help, apply for certain roles, and do all that. There also is the wiki. These are the staff. You could look at everything. So yeah. Hopefully this helped you out. Again, I know this video probably wasn't great, but thing is, I basically recorded this entire video last night and it got corrupted. So like, I was kind of, I basically just had to repeat everything I said in the last video in this video. So yeah, you probably guess why it wasn't as great as it probably could be. But yeah. I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Hopefully you liked my thumbnail too. It wasn't just a unit in a rainbow box. Yeah. I need to get my R farm up. You know what I'm saying? It is too early for this, bro.